Marcus Chen stood alone at the edge of the massive trading station's observation deck, watching ships from dozens of species dock and depart through the transparent aluminum viewport. The Nexus station served as the galaxy's premier commercial hub, where representatives from the Galactic Trade Federation conducted business worth trillions of credits daily. Behind him, the constant chatter of alien languages filled the air as merchants, diplomats, and traders moved through the crowded corridors. At 28 standard years old, Marcus represented Earth's newest attempt to establish serious trade relationships with the galaxy's major powers. The problem was that nobody took humans seriously. Earth had only joined the galactic community 15 years ago, making humanity the newest and least experienced species in the Federation. Most aliens viewed humans as primitive newcomers who had barely mastered interstellar travel. "Look at the little human, still trying to play with the big species," sneered Vextar, a towering Zephyrian whose crystalline exoskeleton caught the station's artificial light. His forearms gestured dismissively as he spoke to his companions near the trade information terminals. "Earth produces nothing we cannot get cheaper and better from established worlds." Marcus had heard similar comments every day for the past 3 months since arriving at Nexus Station. The Zephyrians controlled most of the galaxy's mining operations. The insectoid Thakari dominated agriculture across hundreds of worlds. The aquatic Meridians had cornered the market on rare deep space minerals. Each major species had carved out their niche over thousands of years of galactic trade. Humans, meanwhile, offered basic manufactured goods, raw materials, and what other species considered outdated technology. Earth's representatives before Marcus had failed to secure any significant trade agreements. The Galactic Trade Council barely acknowledged human applications for trading rights, often delaying decisions for months while prioritizing requests from established species. "Perhaps the human should return to his little blue world," added Thys, a serpentine meridian whose scales shifted color with amusement. "Leave real business to real civilizations." Marcus turned away from the viewport and walked toward the central trading floor. The massive circular chamber stretched 5 levels high, with holographic displays showing commodity prices, shipping schedules, and trade negotiations in real time. Representatives from major species occupied the prime positions near the center, while smaller delegations worked from booths around the periphery. The human trade mission occupied a small booth in the outermost ring, barely large enough for Marcus and his single assistant, Sarah Okafor. Unlike other delegations with teams of specialists, advanced AI systems, and direct communication links to their homeworlds, the human operation ran on a shoestring budget with basic equipment. "Any responses to our proposals?" Marcus asked Sarah as he settled into his chair. Sarah shook her head, her expression grim. "The Hegemony Council rejected our mining equipment bid without even reviewing the specifications. The Thakari won't meet with us about food processing technology. Even the smaller species are ignoring our communications." Marcus pulled up the latest commodity reports on his terminal. Prices for exotic matter fluctuated wildly, while demand for rare earth elements continued climbing. The galactic economy thrived on materials and technologies that humanity couldn't provide in meaningful quantities. "Sir," Sarah said quietly, "maybe we should consider returning to Earth. The Council might approve a larger delegation with better resources." "No." Marcus's voice carried more confidence than he felt. "We knew this would be difficult. These species have had millennia to establish their positions. They see us as temporary visitors who'll give up and go home." Across the trading floor, Marcus noticed increased activity around the Consortium's main information hub. The Consortium represented the galaxy's most powerful trading alliance, comprising the Zephyrians, Thakari, Meridians, and 6 other major species. Their combined economic influence controlled roughly 70% of all galactic trade. Zekmon, the Consortium's chief negotiator, was addressing a gathering of representatives. The massive Thakari's mandibles clicked rhythmically as he spoke, a sign of excitement among his species. Marcus activated his booth's translation system to listen. "Emergency session called for tomorrow morning," Zekmon announced. "New intelligence indicates significant market disruption possible in the Vega sector. All major trading partners must coordinate response." Marcus exchanged glances with Sarah. The Vega sector contains some of the galaxy's most valuable mining worlds and shipping routes. Any disruption there would affect commodity prices across known space. As the crowd dispersed, Marcus noticed several species representatives looking nervous. Even the typically confident Zephyrians seemed concerned about whatever information the consortium had received. He made a mental note to investigate further. The day's official trading session ended with humanity still on the outside looking in. Marcus and Sarah packed their materials and prepared to return to their modest quarters. Tomorrow would bring another day of rejection and dismissal from species who viewed humans as galactic children playing at adult games. Walking through the station's corridors, Marcus passed advertisements for exclusive trading opportunities, advanced technologies, and investment schemes available only to established consortium members. Earth couldn't access any of these benefits without proving their worth to species who had already decided humanity had nothing valuable to offer. But Marcus hadn't given up hope. Somewhere in the galaxy's vast economy, there had to be an opportunity for humans to prove themselves. He just had to find it before Earth's patience ran out and recalled him in failure. Marcus spent the evening in his quarters researching the Vega sector situation. His basic terminal couldn't access the restricted databases that consortium members used, but public shipping records and news feeds painted a troubling picture. 3 major mining operations had gone silent over the past week. Communication with the sector's primary shipping hub had become sporadic. The next morning, Marcus arrived at the trading floor early, hoping to learn more about the emergency session. The consortium representatives had gathered in their secure conference chamber, but heated discussions spilled into the main trading area. Marcus positioned himself near a group of smaller species who were trying to eavesdrop on the proceedings. "Complete communication blackout from Vega 7, whispered Krill, a mantis-like sectoid trader. "That's the sector's main processing station. Pirates wouldn't dare attack consortium operations," replied his companion. "The hegemony navy would glass their entire fleet." Marcus felt his pulse quicken. If the Vega sector was under attack, commodity prices would skyrocket. More importantly, this represented exactly the kind of crisis where unconventional thinking might prove valuable. The emergency session lasted 3 hours. When the consortium representatives emerged, their expressions ranged from angry to deeply concerned. Zekman addressed the waiting crowd with barely controlled frustration. "Vega sector operations have been compromised by an unknown threat," he announced. "All shipping routes to the sector are suspended indefinitely. The hegemony navy is investigating." Panic rippled through the trading floor. Vega sector supplied 30% of the galaxy's rare earth elements and processed exotic matter for faster-than-light communications. Losing access would cripple dozens of industries across thousands of worlds. Marcus watched commodity prices explode upward on every display screen. Rare earth elements doubled in value within minutes. Exotic matter futures climbed even higher. Species that relied on Vega sector exports faced immediate shortages and massive cost increases. While chaos erupted around him, Marcus noticed something others had missed. He pulled up shipping manifests and delivery schedules on his terminal, cross-referencing them with Earth's industrial databases. A pattern emerged that made his heart race with possibility. "Sarah," he called urgently. "Get me a direct communication line to Earth Industrial Command. Priority 1 authorization." "Sir, that will cost our entire monthly communication budget." "Do it. Now." While Sarah established the expensive real-time link to Earth, Marcus compiled his analysis. The galactic economy's dependence on Vega sector had created a critical vulnerability. Most species had specialized so thoroughly that they couldn't quickly adapt to supply disruptions. Humans, however, had maintained diverse industrial capabilities precisely because they were newcomers without established specialization. Earth's factories could retool for different products much faster than the highly optimized alien facilities. "Connection established," Sarah reported. Marcus found himself speaking directly to Director Elizabeth Hawthorne, Earth's senior trade representative. Behind her, he could see the familiar blue sky of Earth through her office window. "Marcus, you're burning through credits fast," Hawthorne said. "This better be important. Director, I need immediate authorization to make significant trade commitments. The Vega sector is down, and I think we can exploit the situation. And in this, I was flight sector every teen in 22. Marcus explained his analysis quickly. While other species scrambled to find alternative suppliers at inflated prices, Earth could rapidly increase production of several critical materials. Human factories might be less efficient than alien ones under normal circumstances, but they were far more adaptable. You're talking about a massive gamble, Hawthorne replied. If we ramp up production and the Vega situation resolves quickly, we'll be stuck with oversupply and debt. If we don't move now, we'll miss the best opportunity humanity has ever had to prove ourselves. Look at the commodity futures. Rare earth prices have tripled. Even if we capture a fraction of that market, it would fund human trade operations for years. Hawthorne studied the data Marcus transmitted. Her expression shifted from skepticism to cautious interest. What exactly are you proposing? Emergency production contracts with the consortium. We promise delivery of critical materials within 6 weeks. Earth retooling begins immediately. If we succeed, we establish humanity as a reliable emergency supplier. If the Vega situation resolves before then, we negotiate penalty payments rather than face total loss. The connection fell silent as Hawthorne consulted with advisors off-screen. Marcus watched commodity prices continue climbing, while other species representatives argued frantically with their homeworlds. Authorization granted, Hawthorne finally said. You have full discretionary authority to negotiate emergency supply contracts. Earth Industrial Command is standing by for production orders. Marcus terminated the expensive connection and turned to the chaos around him. Now came the difficult part. Convincing the same aliens who had ridiculed humanity for months that Earth could solve their crisis. He approached Vex Tar, the Zephyrian who had mocked him just yesterday. The crystalline being was arguing with his assistants about finding alternative suppliers. Excuse me, Marcus interrupted. I may have a solution to your rare earth shortage. Vex Tar's 4 eyes focused on Marcus with undisguised contempt. The human child thinks he can solve problems that stump the consortium? Amusing. Earth maintains significant rare earth processing capability, Marcus continued calmly. We can provide immediate delivery of 60% of your normal Vega sector requirements within 6 weeks. Impossible. Your primitive facilities could never match consortium quality standards. Marcus produced a data tablet containing Earth's industrial specifications and recent production reports. These numbers suggest otherwise. We're offering guaranteed delivery contracts with penalty clauses if we fail to meet quality or quantity requirements. For the first time since Marcus had arrived at Nexus Station, Vex Tar actually looked at human-provided data instead of dismissing it immediately. His crystalline features shifted as he processed the information. These production capabilities, they're real? Completely verified. Earth Industrial Command can begin immediate retooling for your specific requirements. Other alien representatives had noticed the conversation. Word spread quickly that the humans might have access to critical materials when everyone else was scrambling for alternatives. Marcus found himself surrounded by species who had ignored him for months, all demanding information about Earth's emergency production capabilities. The ridicule had stopped. Now they needed him. Within hours, Marcus had transformed from galactic nobody to the most sought-after representative on Nexus Station. The small human booth became the center of frantic activity as alien species lined up to negotiate emergency supply contracts. What had been dismissive mockery the day before became urgent respect born of desperate need. The Thakari Collective requires immediate delivery of processing catalysts, declared Ambassador Herds, her mandibles clicking with barely contained urgency. Our food production facilities across 17 worlds will shut down without them. Marcus consulted his growing list of requests and Earth's production capabilities. We can provide 80% of your normal requirements within 5 weeks. Premium pricing applies for emergency production. Premium pricing? Hertz's compound eyes flared. You dare exploit our crisis? I'm offering solutions when nobody else can, Marcus replied evenly. Earth must retool entire factories, work triple shifts, and divert resources from our own production. The pricing reflects actual costs plus fair profit. Behind hers, representatives from 6 other species waited their turn. The Meridians needed exotic matter processing equipment. The sectoids required rare Earth elements for their communication networks. Even minor species that had never acknowledged human existence suddenly discovered urgent needs that only Earth could fulfill. Sarah worked frantically to coordinate with Earth Industrial Command, transmitting detailed specifications and production requirements. Each contract represented months or years of normal trade volume compressed into weeks of emergency delivery. "Sir," she whispered during a brief break between negotiations, "we're committing to production levels that will strain Earth's entire industrial capacity. If we can't deliver, we'll deliver," Marcus said firmly. "This is our chance to prove humanity belongs in galactic trade." The breakthrough moment came when Zekmon himself approached the human booth. The massive Thakari's presence caused other aliens to step back respectfully. As the consortium's chief negotiator, his acknowledgement carried enormous weight. "Human Marcus," Zekmon said, his translated voice carrying undertones of grudging respect. "The consortium requires urgent discussion regarding emergency supply coordination." Marcus gestured to the small chair across from his desk, knowing it couldn't accommodate Zekmon's bulk. "Please, let's talk." Instead of commenting on the inadequate furniture, Zekmon simply lowered himself to bring his massive head closer to Marcus's level. The gesture surprised nearby observers who knew the proud Thakari rarely made such accommodations. "Your species claims capability to provide materials worth approximately 40 billion credits within 6 weeks, Zekmon stated. "The consortium questions whether primitive human industry can meet such commitments." Marcus activated his terminal and displayed real-time feeds from Earth's major industrial centers. Factories across 6 continents were already beginning retooling operations. Massive cargo ships moved raw materials between processing facilities. Orbital construction platforms prepared to triple their output schedules. Earth's industrial base was designed for adaptability rather than specialization, Marcus explained. "While your species achieved efficiency through focused optimization, humans maintained flexible manufacturing capability. In crisis situations, flexibility becomes more valuable than efficiency." Zekmon studied the industrial footage with growing amazement. Where alien factories required weeks or months to retool for different products, human facilities were switching production lines within days. The same plants that manufactured consumer electronics in the morning were producing rare Earth processing equipment by evening. "How is this possible?" Zekmon asked. "Optimal efficiency requires specialized equipment and trained personnel. Human workers train for multiple skill sets. Our manufacturing systems use modular components that reconfigure quickly. We accepted lower peak efficiency in exchange for operational adaptability." The concept clearly challenged Zekmon's understanding of industrial organization. For thousands of years, galactic species had pursued ever greater specialization as the path to economic success. The idea that deliberately maintaining inefficiency could provide advantages was revolutionary. "The consortium wishes to negotiate a comprehensive emergency supply agreement," Zekmon announced. "We require guarantees of delivery, quality standards, and pricing structures." Marcus had prepared for this moment. He produced a detailed proposal that Sarah had helped draft during the morning's chaos. The document outlined Earth's commitment to provide critical materials worth 60 billion credits over the next 2 months, with penalty clauses protecting both sides. "These terms are unusually favorable to human interests," Zekmon observed after reviewing the proposal. "Emergency pricing reflects emergency circumstances," Marcus replied. "When the Vega crisis resolves, normal competitive rates will apply. This premium compensates for the risks we're accepting." What Marcus didn't mention was that the contracts established humanity as a preferred emergency supplier for the consortium. Even after Vega Sector resumed operations, Earth would maintain special status for crisis situations. More importantly, the relationships built during this emergency would open doors for future trade negotiations. Zekmon's mandibles clicked in. What Marcus had learned was the Thakari equivalent of thoughtful consideration. Around them, other alien representatives watched the negotiation with intense interest. The outcome would determine whether humans truly belonged among galactic trading powers. The consortium accepts your proposal, Zekmon finally announced. Emergency supply contracts will be executed immediately. Cheers erupted from several smaller species who had been waiting to finalize their own deals with Earth. The sound of celebration in a dozen alien languages filled the trading floor as news spread that the human solution had received consortium approval. Marcus felt a surge of satisfaction as he watched former skeptics vie for his attention. Representatives who had dismissed him as a primitive newcomer now competed to schedule meetings. The same aliens who had ridiculed human capabilities just days earlier were placing orders worth billions of credits, but success brought new challenges. Marcus knew that Earth's industrial base was about to face the greatest stress test in human history. Failure to deliver on these massive commitments would destroy humanity's credibility permanently. The next few weeks would determine whether humans had truly earned their place in galactic civilization or had simply been lucky enough to exploit a temporary crisis. As the day's trading session ended, Marcus reviewed the contracts now secured in Earth's favor. The numbers were staggering. Commitments worth over 100 billion credits. Delivery schedules that would push human industry to its limits. And penalty clauses that could bankrupt Earth if production failed. He opened a communication channel to Director Hawthorne, knowing the costs no longer mattered. Earth's entire future in galactic trade now depended on the next few weeks of industrial production. 6 weeks later, the first wave of Earth's emergency shipments arrived at Nexus Station aboard a fleet of human cargo vessels. Marcus stood in the primary docking bay watching automated systems unload containers of rare Earth elements, processing equipment, and exotic matter components that would have been impossible to obtain from any other source. The aliens who had gathered to witness the delivery spoke in hushed tones as quality inspection teams verified each shipment. Advanced scanning equipment confirmed that Earth's emergency production not only met consortium specifications but exceeded them in several categories. Human manufacturing had delivered exactly what was promised, precisely when it was needed. Impossible, Vextar muttered as his inspection team reported their findings. Purity levels exceed Vega sector standards. Processing equipment shows superior design integration. Marcus smiled as he watched the Zephyrians' disbelief transform into grudging admiration. Each successful delivery proved that human industrial capability was far more sophisticated than galactic opinion had suggested. What aliens had dismissed as primitive technology was actually innovative engineering designed for maximum adaptability. Ambassador Tiss emerged from her inspection of the exotic matter components with scales shifting through colors Marcus had never seen before. In Meridian physiology, the rapid color changes indicated profound surprise bordering on shock. These processing matrices demonstrate understanding of quantum field manipulation that rivals our own, she admitted. How did your species achieve such advancement in isolation? Humans excel at solving complex problems with limited resources, Marcus replied. We developed different approaches because we couldn't rely on established galactic knowledge. The truth was more complex than his simple explanation suggested. Earth scientists had indeed developed unique technologies during humanity's isolation from galactic civilization. Without access to alien expertise, human researchers had pursued unconventional solutions that often proved superior to traditional methods. Director Hawthorne arrived on the second day aboard Earth's flagship diplomatic vessel, bringing additional trade representatives and industrial specialists. Her presence signaled Earth's commitment to expanding its newfound position in galactic commerce. You've exceeded every expectation, she told Marcus privately as they reviewed delivery reports. Industrial Command says we're operating at 115% of projected capacity. The entire planet is working overtime to meet these contracts. And the results speak for themselves, Marcus replied. Look at our reputation now, compared to 6 weeks ago. The transformation was remarkable. Species that had refused to meet with Earth's representatives now competed for human attention. The consortium had officially designated humanity as a strategic emergency supplier, a status that provided access to exclusive trading opportunities and preferential contract terms. More importantly, the crisis had revealed the hidden value of human adaptability. While specialized alien industries struggled to respond to supply disruptions, Earth's flexible manufacturing base could retool quickly for changing demands. This capability made humanity uniquely valuable in an increasingly unstable galactic economy. Zekman approached Marcus during the third day of deliveries, his massive form moving with the deliberate dignity that characterized senior consortium officials. The chief negotiator's expression was far different from their first meeting months earlier. "Human Marcus," he began formally, "the consortium wishes to discuss permanent trading arrangements with your species." Marcus had anticipated this moment. Emergency contracts had proven Earth's capabilities, but long-term success required establishing sustainable trade relationships that would outlast the current crisis. "We're prepared to negotiate comprehensive agreements," Marcus replied. "Earth offers unique value as a flexible supplier, capable of rapid response to market changes. Indeed, our analysis indicates that human industrial adaptability provides insurance against future supply disruptions. The consortium values such stability." The negotiations took place in the station's primary conference chamber, a vast circular room where the galaxy's most important trade agreements had been finalized over the centuries. For the first time, a human representative sat at the central negotiating table as an equal partner rather than a supplicant seeking basic recognition. Marcus found himself across from negotiators representing the consortium's most powerful members. These were the same beings who had dismissed humanity as galactic children just weeks earlier. Now they treated Earth as a valued partner whose capabilities commanded respect. "Earth will maintain exclusive emergency supplier status for critical materials," Zekman announced as the final agreements took shape. "Human industrial facilities will receive priority access to raw materials and transportation resources." The terms exceeded Marcus's most optimistic expectations. Earth gained permanent trading rights, preferential pricing for imports, and guaranteed market access for human exports. More significantly, humanity earned recognition as a major galactic trading power, with influence over important economic decisions. As the agreements were finalized, Marcus reflected on the journey that had brought him to this moment. 6 months earlier, he had arrived at Nexus Station as the representative of a marginalized species that nobody took seriously. Now he was signing treaties that would shape humanity's economic future for generations. The ceremony concluded with traditional expressions of mutual respect from each consortium member. Even Vextar approached Marcus with what passed for courtesy among his species. "Your success has taught the consortium valuable lessons about adaptability versus specialization," the Zephyrian admitted. "Perhaps there is wisdom in maintaining diverse capabilities. Different species excel in different ways," Marcus replied diplomatically. "Humanity's strength is our ability to change quickly when circumstances require it." That evening, Marcus stood once again at the observation deck where his journey had begun. But now, instead of watching ships depart for destinations where humans weren't welcome, he observed the first regular cargo runs between Earth and major consortium worlds. Human vessels moved through shipping lanes previously restricted to established species. Sarah joined him as the shift ended, both of them exhausted but exhilarated by the day's achievements. "Sir, I've received the latest production reports from Earth," she said. "Industrial Command says they can maintain current output levels indefinitely. We've permanently expanded humanity's manufacturing capacity." Quote, Marcus nodded, understanding the implications. The crisis had forced Earth to develop industrial capabilities that would serve humanity for decades to come. What had begun as emergency measures had become permanent improvements to human civilization. "The aliens who ridiculed us learned an important lesson," he observed. "They assumed that newer meant inferior, and different meant wrong. But humanity's differences are exactly what made us valuable when they needed solutions." In the distance, Marcus could see construction beginning on a new trading complex, specifically designed to accommodate Earth's growing commercial presence at Nexus Station. The human booth in the outer ring had been replaced by a proper embassy with full diplomatic facilities. The galaxy had discovered that humans possessed exactly the qualities needed in an uncertain universe: adaptability, determination, and the ability to find unconventional solutions to complex problems. What had once been sources of ridicule were now recognized as humanity's greatest strengths. Marcus smiled as he watched Earth's ships navigate the busy shipping lanes with confidence earned through determination and proven through action. The species that had once dismissed humans as primitive newcomers now competed for the privilege of trading with humanity's adaptable and reliable civilization.